is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
All right, here it is. It's Tuesday of draft week, and it is time for a draft preview edition of Talkin' Cowboys live from the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, Rob Phillips, Brian Broaddus, Kent Garrison taking your phone calls. We are going to break it down and go step by step through Brian Broaddus' top 100. How do you like the sound of that, Brian?
Let's do whatever we have to do. I'm all for that.
Y'all ready for the draft?
Yeah.
I know Brian is.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Rob, you ready for the draft?
I'm ready. I'm
All
ready
right.
for Thursday, most likely Friday. Ready for them to add players. Let's do it.
Mickey, you ready for the draft?
I did. I shaved. I'm ready to go.
Oh, you did? That's right. I didn't look at your face yet.
Oh, thanks.
All right. You shaved off your playoff beard.
That's right.
Just as the Stars advanced to the next round of the playoffs.
But I shaved it
night.
before they won last night.
All right, so there you go. That may be the reason they won by a whisker last night. All right, as we approach draft day, and do you think the Cowboys can trade into the first round, Rob Phillips?
They could.
The
if they
only
wanted
way
to.
they could is if they trade something next year.
Yeah, if they want to
get
trade
ahead, because they could take
next
their
year's one.
entire draft this year and they still can't get into the first round.
You know, those pre-draft press conferences are what they are. You don't learn much from it, but you do get the sense they love those first-round picks. And, I mean, Jerry was flat out honest saying it's no fun not having one. No offense to Amari Cooper. They love him, but they value those first-rounders.
Who would you like to trade the first round for? That's your question. You're not going for a position. You're going for a player. Who are you interested in?
Ricky Williams?
Yeah. I think, and it kind of gets to what Gil Brandt was talking about, and Brian Broaddus would probably echo those thoughts. Those premier players probably go how deep in that first round? They're off the board.
I've got 24. I got 24 first round grades.
Yeah. But I mean and you probably 12 of those 24 are real difference makers, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you could start. I mean, to me, when it gets down to, I think that it would stop with me right around probably 18.
There you go.
Is where it would stop.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you go from 19 to 40-something, 50, and there's not a huge difference.
We're going to target a team in the back end if we're going to do this. You're going to target a team with multiple picks, a team that will probably willing to move. Packers have multiple picks in the back of that round. The Raiders, of course, have multiple picks. They've got 24, which is Chicago, 27, which is your own. You know.
But given what it would cost, what we just talked about, would it be more likely for them to try to make a small jump on day two if there's a guy they don't want to let slip away?
Yeah, we can go from 58 to 45 if we want to give up that 90. Mm-hmm. That's how we have to think about it right there.
Which is exactly what they did in 2014. They jumped 13 spots for D-Law and gave up their third rounder that year in addition to their second.
Okay, so that is a more realistic trade up, okay?
If I trade him to first, can I get Quinnen Williams?
How many future first rounders do you want to give up to do that?
Well, you asked what do I want if I traded my first round pick.
Let's say
I want to get way up there and get somebody that's going to walk in and start.
Let's think about if you got to 24. Where would you at 24? Where would you
And you would have to give up
ends?
what to get to 24?
You're probably looking at your 1, 2, and your 3. 1 next year, 2 this year, 3 next year.
You're talking like a Noah Fant.
Yeah. Talking like if you like I say, you're going to have to. You're not looking at a position. You're going for a player.
That's
you're
right.
trying to get a player there.
Right.
You know, if they had their pick at 27, I think that Williams, the kid from Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State would have been a heck of a pick right there. Even though it's
despite the injury.
That right there. That's a pick that a general manager that's not going anywhere. That's what a pick a guy like that makes. Because that's a guy that's going to get healthy and he's going to be Mickey mentioned Quinnen Williams. This guy's a tick below Quinnen Williams, in my opinion, when you talk about defensive tackles. and how disruptive he can be.
And how many times have they done it really in the second round? Jalen Smith, Bruce Carter, go down the list, and it's
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee coming off ACLs at Penn State, and it's paid off.
But not in the first.
Not in the first. They've been second round picks.
Basically what you're looking at 27 anyway is a second round grade. Very similar to what you did with Travis Frederick, picking him at 30.
Right.
They had a second round grade on Travis Frederick at the time. So you're looking at a second round player anyway. That's what this draft, you talk to people around the league, they think this draft is really going to be good between rounds 3 and 5. So we got to think about
3 and 5. Wow.
3 and 5. We got to think about if we really want to give up 90, that pick at 90. We have to think about that.
Well, if it's strong between 3 and 5, then I'm talking trade back from 58 then and pick up an extra. You got to be 3 to 5.
Got to figure out who we're trading away from now. That's the next trade.
Right.
And you have somebody there. Do you have somebody there that people are very interested in? Because you're not going to get somebody. It's real easy to say trade back, and then you don't get the value like they did in that Travis Frederick trade. They should have got a second round pick from the 49ers, but they had to take what they had to take because of trying to fall that many spots. So you have to think about
you have to have a player.
You have to have a player, and you have to have an idea of how far back you want to go on that player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all the things that it's real. It's difficult. It's more difficult to trade back than you think because people sense desperation. They sense you panicking of not wanting to stand there and make a pick.
Okay, I saw something on my Twitter timeline yesterday. I have no idea if there's any validity to it at all. Maybe Adam Schefter reported something about San Francisco entertaining trade offers for Solomon Thomas if they are able to get who they want at number 2 overall, which they are going to be able to get who they want, a Bosa or a Quinnen Williams there.
Right.
All right, let's just say that is just for grins. Let's say that's true, and they are taking offers for Solomon Thomas. What would you be willing to give up to acquire Solomon Thomas from San Francisco? He's got 3 years of control left.
We need to figure out where they had him in this stack. When the year he came out in the
draft.
And
he was 3rd overall was where he was drafted by San Francisco. Of course, he's local from Coppell High School here in Dallas.
Right. We need to figure out if, in fact, that he was a top 5 player on this board. Mm-hmm. Because then now you're in the similar type of a situation, I think, in what the Arizona is trying to do with Rosen. You don't want to lose. You don't want to just get totally embarrassed and say, okay, we'll give you 90 and it works. I think that they're going to sit there and hold you up for 58 or something like that. I don't think they get a first for Solomon Thomas, but I think that they would entertain if you're saying, okay, we're willing to give you, maybe 58 and maybe when you're compensatory 4.
So my question is, would it be worth it to give up 58 for Solomon Thomas when you consider if you had him graded high? Let's say you had him graded as a top 5 guy coming out, and when you consider the fact you do have 3 years of control left with the fifth-year
option. And you also
option.
have a situation where you're hunting 3 techniques, too.
Right, exactly. And look where this team is 1 year from now at defensive tackle.
And is defensive tackle rich in that 58 range?
You're looking at probably a guy. You're probably going to have to take a guy early there the Hill kid from Central Florida. On my board, more in that range of in the 60s. So what you're thinking about right there, let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, Tristan Hill have it 67. So yeah, that's about 9 spots early or 9 spots later.
Yeah.
Well, where you have him ranked, but where you probably need to pick him. Yeah, if you told me Solomon Thomas, I could get him for 58, I think I would entertain that.
I think I would too. Now, would San Francisco take that? I don't know.
Yeah, but they're not going to get a 1 out of that.
Right.
I just see them not getting a 1.
Yep.
They're trolling.
Trolling for what?
Well, they're just throwing stuff out there.
Why would you do
San
that?
Francisco is, or the reporters are?
No, well, that too. Well, wait, here. I read this. Somebody reported that Pittsburgh is willing to do just about anything.
To back out?
They didn't say. They said they were willing to do anything.
Okay.
So that means any position, any
well, and
trade,
I've heard the same thing about Oakland
Kevin Colbert.
at 4.
Yeah. Kevin Colbert will usually stand in there and make picks. That's kind of his MO.
That's right. Yeah,
Pittsburgh's a very
to quote it, it's
very
not
solid.
opposed to anything.
That's good.
How about that?
Yeah. All right. When you look, I think when you look at this draft or any draft, and when you look at needs on a team, you have to. I think some people get caught up in what are the needs right now on this team, but I think you have to look ahead. What are the needs a year from now and 2 years from now on this team? And when you do that with this Cowboys roster, the way it is, and the Cowboys contracts. What are the biggest positions of need a year from now? Not now, but a year from now.
Well, you're losing 2 corners, right? You're likely going to lose Byron Jones contractually and Anthony Brown. And then the following year, you lose 2 more corners with Awuzie and Lewis.
And you've got 3 safeties on 1-year deals right now. Mm-hmm. Jeff Heath, Kayvon Frazier, and George Iloka, who you just signed. So that whole
you basically
secondary
just have Woods under contract.
Yeah.
That whole secondary could look vastly different a year from now.
Now look at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle, you've got Daniel Ross on a 1-year deal. You've got Malik on a 1-year deal.
Covington, Hyder,
Tyrone
Now, what's
Crawford
Antoine Wood's situation? Because he had some practice squad time. If he's in his 4th year in the league, but is he?
The human log is an exclusive rights.
He'll be restricted.
Right. So I think he's the only one.
Have to tender him, yeah.
Yeah. I think he is the only one that you've got a year from now basically under contract at defensive tackle. Right. Look at wide receiver. We haven't thought about wide receiver that much.
Well, you need to.
Nope. Noah Brown, Alan Hearns.
Noah Brown would have 1 year left on his deal.
Randall Cobb's got a 1-year deal.
Hearns is in this last year.
This is his last year. Yeah. Austin's in 1-year deal.
Yep.
Right, Cobb, and then you just lost Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams,
and you got to do something with Amari Cooper.
And so Cooper, we're going to assume they're going to sign Cooper, and then you'd have Gallup, and then beyond that, you got Noah Brown would have 1 year left, and Cedric Wilson would have 2 years left, and that's it. So that's a sneaky need right there.
Yes,
you could even look at defensive end and say, Robert Quinn is here, and he's going to help this team a lot. But it's a 1-year deal, and who knows what Randy Gregory's future is, what his status is this year and beyond.
Taco might not play well either. Might have to move on from that.
Bill, you're right.
This has got to be his last year, right?
Taco?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he doesn't,
they could go anywhere.
Something.
How about offensive line?
He's not going to get the 5th-year tender if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. But he's got 1 more year before that. Right.
All right. How about offensive line a year from now?
Lyle Collins is on a 1 year left.
So you got an opening at right tackle.
That could be Cam Fleming.
Cam Fleming is on a 2-year deal now.
Yeah, so they got Cam Fleming. I think Cam Fleming, this is what I think is going to happen there at offensive line. I think either Cam Fleming is going to be your starter at right tackle, or they're going to move Connor Williams back out like they did Lyle Collins. They're going to let him play guard, then move him out to tackle, and then get
an
a guard.
At guard.
Yeah, and then they'll find a guard.
And then let's hope and pray that everything goes well with Travis Frederick, and he's back out on
Sounded
the practice
good the other day
now.
when I had a chance to visit him on Saturday.
But as he said, he doesn't know for sure until he gets into training camp exactly what he's got.
Feeling better though.
Yeah. So that's. And then Looney's got 1 year left.
Yeah.
And Xavier Suafilo.
Yeah, there's another one.
So, yeah.
They don't have enough picks.
Exactly.
So how many positions?
Which is another reason why you
literally
don't trade up. They've got as many picks as you could get.
They've got like 30 guys up at the end of next year. Now, to your point, you got to do something with Amari, Dak Prescott, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, the bulk of your roster is got to be addressed a year from now.
So if you think of it that way, getting rid of picks this year is not real smart.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Yep.
That was our mailbag question this morning. Actually, would you stockpile?
Yeah.
And I'm of what you were saying earlier kind of reminded me a little bit of 2009, where it's like, oh yeah, let's trade back, let's add picks. Are you getting the quality as opposed to the quantity, instead of just sitting there and picking good football players that might be able to compete to start for you, if not this year, the next year?
Got to sit there and just take every pick they have. That's when this team seems to do their best, when they just sit there and pick players.
Pick.
Trust the board and go for it. That's, the moving up, the moving back, and all that stuff. That's great and it's great, makes great theater for the night. But in actuality, though, when they actually do their best, when they sit there and just pick players.
How many
go ahead and
positions
pick Zach Martin?
Yeah,
right.
Not? Yeah.
How many positions did we just mention that they would have a need either
mentioned
now or next year.
Corner, safety, defensive tackle, defensive end, wide receiver, offensive line, and you can throw tight end in there too.
And you still don't have a backup running back.
Yeah, we sit there and we're talking about all these, what's going to happen next year with all the movement and stuff like that, and guys potentially gone. They'll just do the same thing they did again this year. They'll determine a bunch of 1-year contracts and go. They got Cam Fleming back on a 2-year deal when he was only on a 1-year deal. We talk about all the. I think you need to worry about the positions that they need to worry about are the positions where they have potential loss of starters. Mm-hmm. I think you look at the cornerback spot. You look at they could potentially lose a guy with. Lose a starter with Collins, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, Malik Collins is there.
And Lyle Collins a year from now too. At right
absolutely,
tackle.
Crawford. I mean, there's guys that they could probably move on from, but I think you need to focus more. They can, as long as they have the core of their roster signed, the Zekes, the Dax, those kind of guys, then you could focus in on the Cam Flemings of the world and guys like that to help you with the depth on those 1-year deals.
For sure.
They've also got, too, if you look at their roster, I think Hellman counted it up. They have the ability after the draft to add about 13, undrafted players. They've had a great history here of adding 1 or 2 guys that kind of makes a difference in that regard. So hopefully that'll be another thing that Chris Hall he continues to man, and they continue to go off their board and get guys that they have draftable grades for. That's where they're going to start after that draft. So, once that pick's over in the 7th round, boom, there they go to work. And hopefully they can grab some guys that can help them this season.
Historically, 1 or 2 guys at
every
least
year
makes the team. Danny McRae, one of them.
Yep.
Barry Church, you can go down the list. Tony Romo.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, the top 100 is posted on DallasCowboys.com. It was posted yesterday. How much did you enjoy putting that together?
It was difficult because I've usually done 50, but the fact that they didn't have a first-round pick
kind of required you to go deeper.
Yeah, what happens to you, though, is you get caught up on some guys that has very similar grades, similar players that, you get with those, like to steal a Bill Parcells line, those wide receivers were stacked in there like club sandwiches. It's one of those things. So you're trying to separate those guys. There was a lot of quality at running back. There was a lot of quality at tight end. So you find yourself trying to put these guys in the right spot. Mickey was asking me about Drew Lock. I think, Mickey, I have him at 64 on my board here is what I'm looking at. So, but I thought that, when you look at, I thought Will Greer, it came down to, I think Will Greer and Lock are very similar type players for what you're looking at. I think Lock has a stronger arm. I think Will Greer is more accurate. So that's why I put him a little bit higher than where I had Locke. So that's the problem you run into is you're trying to kind of figure out where a guy fits in the right spot on your board, but also, though, where they could potentially go, not so much for the Dallas Cowboys, but for the league in general.
So at quarterback, you've got Locke as your number 5 quarterback. You've got Murray at number 11 overall. Mm-hmm. Haskins of Ohio State at number 14. You've got Daniel Jones from Duke at 32.
Right.
Will Greer at 41.
Right.
And Drew Lock at 64.
Yeah.
There's your top 5
Finley's
quarterbacks.
after that. And Finley's after
it's
that.
93.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I say, I think someone will be very, very happy with Drew Lock. You watch him play. There's a lot to like about his ability. Like I said, I feel like that he has of the arm talent. He's very much similar to what Haskins has. That type of guy that can throw off balance, doesn't have to have his feet set. But I just went for a little bit more accurate guy with Greer, West Virginia, and it's hard to evaluate the Big 12 guys too because of the fact that the lack of defense that's played overall in that conference. It's tough because there's a lot of open throws, limited pass rush. Offensive lines are big. The Oklahoma line is huge. If you watch what you're evaluating.
I like where you had Samia.
Yeah.
You have him as a 3rd round.
Yeah,
Drew Samia.
Absolutely. I mean,
he's got some position flex too.
Oklahoma's got some players. I just tried to be different with my board. That's the whole idea.
Yep. Okay. I laugh because you mentioned the Big 12 defenses, and I oh, Lord, I had to watch that Oklahoma defense week in and week out.
Sure.
And there's one guy you don't have in your top 100 that I really like, and this is going to happen. I mean, it's some people like vanilla, some like chocolate, whatever.
Right.
Hakeem Butler, the wide receiver from Iowa State.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because I saw him destroy Oklahoma not 1 year but 2 years in games.
Yeah.
And so I like him, but I haven't seen all the drops that others have seen in the route running. I'm just looking at, I'm a drive-by YouTube watcher, and so I don't have enough time to sit there.
That's you have an opinion if you do the work. I appreciate that. I think the thing that people absolutely love Butler's size. There's no question about that. You're talking about a guy at 6'5",
nearly 11-inch hands.
220 something pounds. I mean, he's a physical player with the ball in his hands, but you do see some times where he'll body catch the ball, and I think that leads to inconsistencies with him. You see him, for a big guy, he should try and snatch the ball more. Extend those hands, use those big hands to try and get the football. But it really, where you watch him play, it takes him some time for the double moves and stuff like that. He's legitimately a high 4.5, 4.6 type of runner. I know that
he ran a 4.48.
Yeah, but you watch him play. He doesn't play that way.
Yeah.
You watch the tape at Iowa State, and he's not a guy that plays to that speed. There's a lot of guys that train.
He just dominated in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And seemed to have strong hands, although apparently he had drops as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm intrigued about with him is he was a basketball player, and I think there's a lot of potential with him because he came to football late.
Right.
And in fact, if you're familiar with the Harrison twins who played basketball at Kentucky, he's cousins with them, and actually his mom passed away after a battle with cancer in 2012, and the Harrison twins, who live in Houston, he grew up in Baltimore, they took him in Houston, and their dad, and so he played basketball and then became a football player.
Right.
But anyway, it's interesting.
Got Noah Brown here. Smoking the
That's
Sooners,
right.
man.
That's right. Exactly. 4 touchdowns in one game against cornerbacks who are now in prison. All right.
It's not lying.
We continue with our draft preview, and we take your phone calls, and there's another guy who I have to pin Brian brought us down on because we agree about a guy who is one of my favorite players in this draft when we come back in just a
Kaboo
moment.
Texas is 3 days, 6 stages, over 100 artists, including The Killers, Lionel Richie, Leonard Skinner, Miss Lauryn Hill, Kid Rock, Alanis Morissette, Little Big Town, the Avett Brothers, Counting Crows, Pitbull, Sting, the Black Eyed Peas, and the list goes on. Don't miss Kaboo Texas. Single day and 3-day passes are on sale now. Visit KAABOOTexas.com to get your passes today.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Cowboys are finalizing that draft board. It's crunch time on draft week, and crunch time's when you gotta stay cool. Nobody's better at keeping you cool under pressure than Tommy John. Tommy John underwear has moisture-wicking, antimicrobial fabrics to keep germs and perspiration at bay. That means no discomfort and no adjustment, Mick. Tommy John, no adjustment needed. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order.
Can't wait for that Jack Black read for the next 30 minutes.
Right here. This one's going to throw you for a loop.
Okay.
You mentioned Mick when you said no adjustments. You haven't seen Mick making an adjustment in many a month, right?
That's right.
Yeah. TMI, but absolutely.
All right. How about a little draft coming up this week? And you can join us right here at the Star for the Cowboys official draft party presented by Miller Lite. It is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Fans with the opportunity to see current Cowboys players, members of the Cowboys cheerleaders, the Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue, Dallas Cowboys mascot Rowdy, while also enjoying live music, games, activities, and more. Admission and parking are free here at the Star in Frisco. Visit DallasCowboys.com/draft day for details. And, of course, the Cowboys don't have a first-round draft pick, but there will be a party going on nonetheless on Thursday night here. And then, of course, they've got a second-round pick, number 58 overall. On Friday night, a third-round pick, number 90 overall. A couple of fourths, 128 and 136. The fifth, 165 on Saturday. And then a seventh-rounder at 241. That's where it sets right now.
What's Arizona's pick in the top of that round? Starts that round? Is that 104?
The third?
Let's see.
They're fourth. The one that starts the third day.
It is 103.
103.
Yep.
Would you guys consider taking both your fourth-round picks, the ones we just mentioned?
First pick on Saturday?
And getting that first pick on Saturday?
Yeah.
Would you consider that?
To move up to the top of the fourth?
Yeah. We said 103. We're gonna package 128 and 136 and go.
Do you have a player you think might be there?
Well, I'm thinking that we're going to sleep on my board after I'm going to do some damage at the end of that round. I got a pick at 90. I'm going to do some damage at the end of that round. I'm going to try and hit him, and I'm going to come back at him again to start the next day. And maybe because I don't have a sixth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit there, I'm going to use my four. I'm going to use both my fours are gone. I'm going to use my four to go up. I wonder. I didn't say if there's a player, because usually when you sleep on your board that third day, there's somebody there. There's that player that's been you maybe have a second round grade on or a third round grade on that you really 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 like, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Xavier Woods a guy they had kind of pegged in that range? Yeah. And they thought did they think about moving up for him? And he kept falling and he kept falling.
Joe Baker came in
fifth round.
Yeah, Joe Baker, sixth round. Joe Baker came in and did a little talk with us. He was one of the coaches nice enough to, I guess he wasn't feeling like he wasn't doing anything. So he came in and during the draft and, we got on him a little bit about, you got to go get Xavier Woods. You got to go get him. That's our guy. Third round. You got to go get him, and sure enough, it worked out. But, maybe there's a guy like that. Maybe there's a guy that has a high grade. And if you could just parlay those two fourth-round picks and try and get, that's a valuable pick right there. I'm sure that Arizona is going to get a lot of offers for that pick. And then, but that's the reason why they were bad and they had the first pick.
Or weren't they trying to move up in 2016 to take a quarterback?
Cowboys?
Yeah.
They wound up, of course, taking one at 134.
But they were trying to get to the end of the third round, maybe top of the fourth.
Was that Connor Cook?
Connor Cook from Michigan State. That's right.
Where's Connor Cook now?
I think he's on the street.
What, Oakland drafted him, right?
Yeah.
The AAF just folded.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Where's Paxton Lynch?
He's also where I deserve to. Yeah, he's made me look bad there too. That's another one of those picks, though. These quarterbacks are difficult to evaluate, and I never get them right. So that means Mickey's guy Locke will probably be a Hall of Fame player.
Go number 6 to the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connor Cook, by the way, is with the Detroit Lions.
That's I was
back in Michigan.
I was
now.
looking that up.
Guy's a
Lynch?
future guy this offseason.
Somebody picked Lynch up, didn't they, as a backup?
Yes, they did.
Jacksonville. Am I wrong about that?
Sounds right.
I hate that I don't remember where all my misses go. I should remember where all those guys go.
He is still in the league.
Yeah.
Is that MI? No, never mind.
But to Brian's point, Drew Lock may not be the 6th best player in the draft, but especially now that the picks are slotted, they don't cost as much as they used to pay a quarterback in the first round. Teams are more comfortable reaching for a guy.
Is Tyler Murray the best player in this
Exactly,
draft?
because if you nail it, that's the most important position on your team by far. It's worth reaching.
Somebody help me on Periscope, please, where my guy is. Paxton Lynch. I guess I could look that up myself, but I want to get people involved.
Yeah, let's get involved.
Yeah, help us out.
Yeah, help us. Come on, help us out, Periscope. I know you're out there listening, so help us out. They can.
I've got him. I know where he is,
Oh,
but I'll wait if you want to.
No, let's go for it. Wait, hang on. These people, man, they're just more interested in talking about the guys drafting. They don't care about Paxton Lynch.
It's not where I did not remember that he's here.
I looked at Jacksonville. It's not there.
It's not Jacksonville.
No, it's not. I thought
go to the opposite extreme of the
You got to go the other way.
You got him?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Where is he?
Where'd you get him?
I just
you
punched him in.
Where is it, Bill? Please.
Seattle.
Okay. There we go. Guy knows something about quarterbacks up there.
Okay.
So I want to see the picture. I want to see.
Maybe you can save my ass.
I want to see the picture of Paxton Lynch alongside Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Except the picture that came up,
Yeah.
he was still in his Denver uniform.
Yeah. Seahawks. Yeah.
But your evaluation of him.
Thank you, Damien. Damien Miles came up with that.
There you
Appreciate
go.
that,
All right.
Damien. Thank you.
It is the hardest position to evaluate. Because
I'm an idiot when it comes to quarterbacks.
You can look at all the measurables in the world for a quarterback, and he had all of them.
Yeah. And the
rocket arm, tall.
When Elway took him, I was like going, oh, thank God. Because I was thinking that maybe John Elway knows. And then all of a sudden I start hearing, the Cowboys were trying to trade up. And I'm thinking, all right, great. And now I'm thinking like, man, the Cowboys are idiots like me about these quarterbacks.
There's so much that goes into that position besides tangibles. And Dak Prescott is the perfect example because Dak has talent, a lot of talent, but he's got other aspects to his game that make him valuable, and that's why he's going to make a lot of money. A lot of money.
All right, who's your pet cat in this second and third round in this draft? Who's the guy that you like? Any of you?
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody got a guy?
I've got a guy, but I'll let y'all go first.
Well, let me ask you this because one of my pet cats, I had to do by position, is what I did, and the guy I would absolutely love to have is, and I think maybe I shouldn't say all, but I think fans would appreciate the kid Rapp from Washington.
I was going to say, Brian,
that's the
you
one.
talked me into him.
Well, and then another guy I really love is the Joejuan Williams from Vanderbilt, the big tall corner from Vanderbilt.
Because he's like a prototype for Chris Richard.
He's perfect for Chris Richard. Is what he is.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at him. I kind of look at I look at Collier, the defensive end from TCU. I love the Williams kid from Texas A&M, the running back.
That's my pet cat. And
you go.
I'm a little biased, but I think he's a guy.
Travion Williams.
Yeah. You look at him and you say maybe he can't be a full-time back, but he's going to help your football team.
Yeah.
He could be a change of pace. He can step in. He can pretty much do anything you ask him to do back there.
I think the Warring kid that's tied in from San Diego State would be an interesting guy. That guy's a water polo goalie. We do all kinds of crazy things here at the Cowboys with tight ends. You could be like, have all kinds of crazy things and they'll draft you. But yeah, this Warring kid, Nada. I know Nada doesn't run very fast, but I think somebody's going to get he's a tight end from Georgia. Kind of a guy I really like.
All right, my pet cat
Is this the guy you agree with me on, Bill?
I agree with you because you've got him ranked in your top 100.
Thank God.
And so does Gil Brandt.
Oh.
And
you had a top 100?
Yep, he had a top 150.
Oh, good for him.
And,
good for him. I need to see that.
It came out last week sometime, and so
Periscope's lighting us up. They say they want love for Savage, the kid from Maryland.
Dontrell Savage.
Yeah, they want a rangy, long safety guy. It's what they want.
Okay,
they already got one.
The guy that I like, he's a sleeper guy. If you look at
sleeper,
you said pet cat. You didn't say sleeper.
No, he's my pet cat.
Okay, go for it.
I love him.
Yeah,
I would take him in the second round myself. Okay. Jalen Hurd, wide receiver, Baylor.
Oh.
I love that guy.
Okay. Is this another guy that lit up Oklahoma?
No. Well, no. He was all Baylor had, basically. Yeah. Okay. But if you aren't familiar with his story, he was a top recruit, running back recruit out of Tennessee. Went to University of Tennessee, started at running back, and you, Brian, you know all this stuff.
Oh, I do.
Started at running back, ran for 1,300 yards 1 year, started ahead of Alvin Kamara at Tennessee at running back.
Yes.
And then made the decision himself, I think after a couple of concussions as a running back at Tennessee, that he felt like in the NFL he would have a longer life, and maybe a longer life in general, if he did not play running back anymore. And he was a 240-pound running back at Tennessee.
Right.
And he made the change to wide receiver, and he then went into what was then, there's now a transfer portal. There wasn't a transfer portal then, but he transferred from Tennessee, and he winds up at Baylor. He visited Baylor and just liked the whole atmosphere there. And he played the slot, and he also played some running back at Baylor this past year. And I just love this guy.
They brought him in late. He was one of the last visits they had. And, he was kind of, I think there were a lot of teams out there that were running him in to kind of get an idea about him. He had a knee problem. And so
his scope.
His 40 time wasn't as good. Going into the fall, everybody had about a 4.4 speed on him.
That was his Baylor numbers, with 4.4 with a 40 vertical and a 3.85
exactly.
shuttle.
And then, but then he turned around and he ran like 4.63 in the 40,
right.
And some people kind of fell off him a little bit. But this guy, you're not wrong about this guy, Bill. Talk about he didn't want to get concussions and stuff like that. This guy will run routes underneath, though. He will take a ton of routes underneath. And when you get the hands get on the ball, he can make plays. I for a real tall, long guy, he makes some really nice moves in space. You kind of feel like that tall, lanky guys have trouble turning and breaking and cutting, and this kid does not have any of those problems at all. So
6'4", 228, 10-inch hands.
Yeah.
He had 69 catches, average 14 yards a catch, whatever. Yeah. Carried the ball 48 times for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns for Baylor this year. But he, Matt Rule, the Baylor head coach, who almost got a head coaching job in the NFL this offseason.
Sure.
A quote from him. He'll play a long time in the NFL as a wide receiver. He will be an elite wide receiver. I've got a good friend who's on the coaching staff down there, and he said he's never been around a kid who practices harder than this kid does. And another coach down there said, literally, this might be the most talented player I've ever seen.
How about Kent Garrison doing some yeoman's work here? He's got Tennessee highlights of him running the ball.
On point.
So if you're watching along with us, he's got Baylor highlights and he's throwing Tennessee highlights at you. Great job, Kent Garrison, getting that done.
This is what I love about preparing for the draft. I dig in. That's why I have this green notebook. Is I dig into it and try to find players like that.
Sure.
And I have no idea if this guy's he may be a bust in the NFL, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just enjoy finding players like that, and I think he's got a good shot at making it for a long time in the league.
Third round.
Like I say, I would take him at number 58. I'm not. Okay. You got him at number 75, I think, on your list.
Yeah.
Gil had him at 89, and I think Jamie. I think it may be hard pressed for he'll be there at 90.
I've got him as he is my. Let me count these guys. That would be 5, 6. He's my 7th best receiver in the draft. Is what he is. So no, take that back. He's my 8th best receiver in this draft. So, yeah, I've got him in the top of the 3rd round. So that's where I got him behind Ridley from Georgia is who I've got. So we'll see.
And, and his position flexibility. Okay, how would he fit on the Cowboys? Okay, obviously you got Randall Cobb in the slot.
He was a former running back at Kentucky.
And there you go. And he was another one of my pet cats when he came for sort of the same reasons. He could play as a rookie this year. Well, we've already talked about where the Cowboys are at wide receiver a year from now.
Right.
But he would have a role immediately on this team, either as a slot, as a third down back in the backfield.
Interesting. They need a back, right? They need a backup back.
Yeah.
And people talk about, you got to have a running back, right? They need a running back to back up Zeke, and that's true. But Zeke has not shown, knock on wood, injury history. Randall Cobb has. So maybe wide receiver, you look at that and say, okay, maybe we do need some depth there just in case.
I just got my charts of all the teams and stuff and from the college visits. Philadelphia has 2 picks ahead of you in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how many they have in the third, but Philadelphia visited this kid. They visited A.J. Brown, Paris Campbell, Keneal Harry, and then also Jalen Hurd. And then so they ran in some receivers there as well.
I think New England looked at him too.
Yeah, let me check that. He might have been a visit with them as well, like you talked about. So this kid, matter of fact, I just flipped to Tampa Bay. He visited Tampa too, as well. So, and he also visited the Tennessee Titans as well. I'm just flipping through these teams right now. Let's see if he visited the Washington Redskins. No visit to the Redskins. So anyway, yeah, there's several teams that are very, very interested in this player. There's no question of that.
Anyway, that's my guy.
That's your guy.
If he gets drafted, Bill, feel free to pat yourself on the back.
If he gets drafted.
He will. He'll get drafted. I mean, like I say, I named off New York Jets. I could just go through all these teams. Let's see if he visited the Giants. No, he didn't visit the Giants. I mean, I could spend all day doing this, and I just named like 4 teams right there that 5 teams he's already visited. So at Minnesota Vikings, add that to this guy was no wonder he came to the Cowboys so late. Mm-hmm. He was traveling all over the country. He's got a free ticket on American Airlines now. All the traveling he was doing.
And the Flight Club member?
And you catch him at the Admirals Club. You go interview him at the Admirals Club.
And if you do a search on him, different not mock drafts, but draft lists that aren't up to speed, he's listed as a 7th-round prospect.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's the problem.
A lot can change between December and April, right?
That's exactly right. And when people start studying these players, the teams already know about these players, but once we start studying them, then they rise. Well, teams already had them up there anyway. All right, we continue with more Talking Cowboys in just a moment.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox, the makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crock pot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True. They even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Well, we need to make every day Earth Day.
Oh.
From April 16th through the 23rd, that's today, Jack Black will donate 10% of the net proceeds to Wild Aid from all sales placed through getjackblack.com. And you get a free canvas travel bag and a Pick 4 Deluxe sample with your purchase of $65 or more. Use the code WILD and shop now.
Is today Earth Day?
Every day's Earth Day on getjackblack.com.
All right.
What is the official Earth Day, though?
I think it was
someday.
It was this week.
April. So they've turned it into a week now instead of a day.
Well,
it's Earth Week.
No, there's an Earth Day. I forget.
Yeah,
which
I just
day
don't remember
is.
what day it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be every day.
Yes,
right, Mick?
That's right.
That's right.
Because you got to take care of the Wild Aid.
That's right. 888-855-2297 is the number to call us. We've got several minutes left to entertain your draft questions or any other questions you have about this Cowboys team, which is out on that practice field as the official offseason workouts began last week. And it looks like there's very good attendance out there.
There is.
It's because they're all on one field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all crowded together now.
Yep. Things under construction here at the Star.
Do we know enough about the draft to say on Periscope they're asking, and this is from our buddy Smith. He wants to know, is there somebody in the fourth that could be a steal? Bill, you've kind of looked at this. Is there somebody you like? I mean, we talked about Hurd. Is there somebody in that on those fourth round, those two picks? Is there how about that? How about, is there a position? Is there a position you guys are looking at? You kind of have earmarked
I wonder,
those two picks right there.
I wonder at safe, has it changed at the safety position here?
By the way, say Earth Day was yesterday.
That's
April 22nd.
it was yesterday.
Yeah.
See there?
Thanks, folks. Appreciate you.
Brian, have things changed as far as the safety position is concerned in recent years, in the last couple of drafts where they take safeties earlier? There was at one point where safeties, you could find safeties in the mid-rounds because there wouldn't be – corners would go earlier.
Right.
But because of the way things have changed in the league now, there's more of a premium on safeties because there's a bunch of safeties that, in fact, you've got – how many of your – you got – 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 safeties in your top 100 right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's not that run on safeties in the third round, second and third round that we anticipate, maybe safety is a position that could be there in the fourth round, could be one of those that you want to trade up for at the beginning of the fourth round.
Yeah, exactly. Are we looking at safety because we feel like it's the most unstable position? Well, as far as the level of players there?
I think there's an opportunity.
Is that why we keep talking about safeties?
There's an opportunity at safety, I think, for a guy to come in and compete for snaps. It's possible. I don't think signing Iloka precludes a guy from coming in and doing that.
Right.
And at least, Jeff Heath is probably, to me, still your starting strong safety. But it doesn't mean, they've proven they will make a rotation at safety if a guy earns snaps. So it's hard looking at the roster and saying, this guy could be a starter even at 58. But safety's one spot, and we talked about it earlier. It's wide open a year from now unless they bring all these guys back. So
you think they're taking a look at their board and they're saying, well, maybe they don't have 8. How many I have? 6, 8? How many I have? 8 okay,
safeties.
If maybe they have 5.
Yeah.
Maybe they have 5 safeties in their top 100.
And you have 7 corners in your top 100.
See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're looking at this and saying, you know what, this might be a good time for us to grab a safety.
Oh, wait, I take that back. I screwed. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have more corners than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
What did Gill say? Did Gill say it's the deepest safety class he's ever seen?
Something like that.
Yeah. So does that mean you don't have to take one in the second?
Maybe
And
not.
That's kind of
Maybe
my
not.
point. That maybe the strength of it may fall into the fourth. Then,
if you were looking for a pet cat, one guy that I like is Hooker from Iowa.
Right.
Amani Hooker, because he's a guy that if you like Xavier Woods as your deep safety, this is a guy that can
he's
play.
a down guy.
He
no
can
question.
play in the box. He's a sure tackler. He's made some plays. I think he had 4 picks last year. So This is a guy that kind of fits a positional need for you, but also might be interchangeable, which is what they prefer out of their guys.
This guy wants to be part of the action.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And Rob, and you're absolutely right about the description of the player. Absolutely right about him.
And he's a guy that is probably beyond the 58 range. He may be a 90 guy.
Yeah.
Right? If like Bill's saying, if it drops out a little bit.
Yeah. I had him outside. I had him in the fourth. But that's kind of where, this guy is got some ability. I mean, when you watch him play, he's a physical guy. And I think that's if they're looking at playing Woods as that single high guy and having somebody that can stand next to Smith and Van Der Esch and hold his own down there low, this Amari Hooker is not a bad guy to even to consider there for sure.
Say Amani Hooker and Amari Cooper together back-to-back 5 times in a row.
Go ahead.
I tried.
Do you think they're asking on Periscope, do you think they would address the offensive line there?
We got a lot of people writing in on our mailbag wanting that.
Where at 4?
Well, just somewhere
they
in
got
the first
2 fours. The 2 fours, yeah.
Third, fourth, yeah.
They need an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Which
one? Which
they don't
spot?
have anybody that can groom.
Yeah. Well,
no one's coming out of the woodwork on this team.
I wonder what they really think of Redmond. I threw the name out there. They used him. He played some games.
Yeah.
He
did okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe with the 2-year deal too with Fleming, maybe they think Fleming could be. I'm with you guys on. I'm with you on the offensive lineman part. I think a lot of people see running back as being. Everybody wants Bryce Love, the Stanford kid,
because you could get a steal potentially.
Maybe that's
ACL though.
Yeah, but that's. Bryce Love might be a guy that starts on PUP, and then next thing you know, he's one of your guys, and for the last half of the season.
2,000-yard rusher in college that is probably going to get drafted below his talent level. So I can see
along those same lines, I love Rodney Anderson. I don't love all the OU players. That's one that I do love.
That guy's kind of a key, but the problem with him,
injuries.
Bill, the injuries, neck,
yes,
broken leg, knee.
Right.
My backup guy cannot be a train wreck.
Right.
My backup guy, but he does everything you want.
And I'm talking deep in the draft.
Oh no, he runs, he catches, and he blocks. There's no. But if he's got when you start talking neck and running back, I just cringe.
Right.
I turtle man. I kind of.
What about the wide receiver from Clemson? In the 4th.
Renfro?
Yes.
Hunter Renfro, former walk-on.
You go, Mick. Like him?
I saw him play. I saw him make plays.
Yeah, there's a couple of those guys in this draft, Mickey, that are like that. Renfro, Andy Isabella. There's they kind of if you're gonna maybe if I have to have a slot player, I'll just take that guy we just talked about. I'll talk about Hurd. Yeah. Give me that guy. Give me somebody with some length. Give me somebody to play on the outside.
Last to the 4th, though, isn't
it? Doesn't have to be a Cole Beasley clone.
No.
In terms of size.
There's other kind of receivers you can put in the slot. They all don't have to be little short.
That's right.
Let me ask.
Amari Cooper plays in the slot.
Let me ask you this though: running back or wide receiver? If you had to take an offensive player at 90, would you take an offensive tackle or a guard at 90?
I love Travion, but you'd have to get him at 90.
Well, and my whole deal is who's the player. I think that they've got enough needs across the board that I'm looking more at player than I am position. And so if you give me 2 players, then I'll tell you, like if I've got a choice of Jalen Hurd or throw me a running back.
Trevion Williams?
Trevion Williams. I'm taking Jalen Hurd myself.
Yeah, because he's like your favorite guy.
Right.
Well, and that player could fill more of a need a year from now than a backup running back. I'm sorry. They need to address the depth there. Mm-hmm. But Ezekiel Elliott, knock on wood, he's playing 90% of the snaps usually. It might be a little less than that this year, but he's a durable back. How much is a backup running back really going to play? And
but the other thing to consider is
if
they're, heaven forbid, an injury to Zeke, then what do you got at running back?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
This might be unfair then. Okay, say you went Hurd, Sternberger, the tight end from A&M, Samia, the guard from Oklahoma. This is kind of a focus for you because you like you're talking all my guys here. Or Nelson, the defensive end from Iowa.
I like him too.
So I'm going to give you a defensive end.
You got to take Hurd out of the equation.
Okay,
I'm going Hurd.
Okay, I'll take Hurd out of the equation. I'll go Sternberger.
Okay.
I'll go Sternberger, the tight Samia, the guard from Oklahoma,
who has played tackle as well in college.
Travion Williams, the runner from Texas A&M, or Nelson, the defensive end from Iowa.
I may go with Rob there on Travion Williams.
Yeah, going running back.
So everybody's talking about running back at 90 then, huh?
What about?
I don't love it.
I don't have
as much as I
don't love it, but I don't have a problem if I've. And again, I say this is without really digging into the players myself. I've got a working knowledge of them, but I haven't dug in like Brian said.
Same here.
That's I know it's unfair. I'm just throwing. But the player they seem to like too is the Ferguson kid from Louisiana Tech,
who some people have first round.
Yeah.
You've got him
sack guy
So
in the country.
now, Ferguson then at 58. Are you guys on board with Ferguson at 58?
I like him.
Rob read all these defensive line problems we have contractually coming up.
Well, that's why I think my original mock I had Collier because defensive end, edge rusher, but it could be a need for you a year from now. It's not. You can't rule out addressing that pick, even though tackle might be more of a need this year. You know,
what position can get you beat?
Quarterback.
Okay,
he's not wrong about
position
that.
That's obvious. What position can get you beat?
Offensive line.
Or defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you
wide receiver's not going to get you beat unless you don't have a good guy.
You thinking about the Rams game?
I still am.
Yeah. Tackle
more
than in.
Safety's not going to get you beat. The free safety might. The strong safety is not going to get you beat.
That goes back to what Stephen Jones said at the pre-draft press conference. He said it's not a priority for us. Those playmaking safeties are rare.
Right.
If there's one there for you, maybe you grab him.
Is Darren Woodson there?
Well, maybe not Darren Woodson.
God, Mickey, he's like one of the greatest players ever.
Right. I mean, it's hard. I mean,
took him to the second round.
I'm looking at my board and no.
I just want the position that gets you beat should be
I just
your
did 100 guys, and I could say no.
No, Darren
tight end
Woodson.
position's not going to get you beat.
Yeah, here's the deal at defensive tackle. Okay, and I'm just going off the Brian Broaddus board here, where you've got Quinnen Williams, number 2, Ed Oliver, number 3, Rashawn Gary, number 19, Dexter Lawrence is 33, Jeffrey Simmons, number 4 on your list, Jerry Tillery's 37, Christian Wilkins is 16, Draymond Jones is 36. So I just listed nearly 10 defensive tackles who are in your top 36, 37 players.
Oh, no. Yeah, and it's better than the defensive ends.
That's right. That's right. Zach Allen's 45.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Bosa, Allen, Sweat, those guys are the guys who are going to go at the defensive end spot. Now where the run is going to be is on these defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm.
That's where some people are going to make some hay.
Yeah. So if he thought that much of that position, then that answers the question.
Go defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle.
Yeah.
But they probably won't do it.
I bet you they draft the kid Hill from Central Florida.
Tristan Hill.
Yeah.
We have number 67.
At 90 or 58?
I bet you they take him at 58.
He won't be there at 90, I think.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I'm going to act like today in a mock draft, I'm going to act like he's there because I think that they might take the cornerback Williams. I think Chris Richard is going to carry a real big stick in this draft room, and he's going to hit everybody over the head with it.
This is the type of guy I like.
Yeah, give me this guy. We've got all these things coming out. Give me this guy. Give me this guy.
Okay, I got 2 more names I want to throw out before we wrap up here, and one of them along the lines of Tristan Hill, who's not getting any love, is Albert Huggins, defensive tackle from Clemson. I'm talking mid-round, 4th, 5th round, whatever.
Right.
Some people got him as a 6th or 7th round talent, but he's a guy who is highly recruited and didn't play. They got 5 defensive linemen from Clemson in this draft.
That's why they gave Alabama
But if you look at their snaps, he got just about as many snaps and had as much production as Dexter Lawrence did for Clemson. I look at him as a guy who could be a mid-round defense if you go a different route in the second and third round. He could be a mid-round defensive tackle that you could.
I'll give you
do
a
something
name.
with.
I'll give you a sleeper name too. It's not a sleeper, but if running back's that Jalen Moore from Appalachian
Yeah, I
State.
saw you had him listed there,
that's
and
a
I looked at him this
If
morning.
you don't know about Jalen Moore from App State, go take a peek at him.
And a tight end, Foster Moreau from LSU.
LSU, kind of a complete guy as a tight end goes.
Yeah.
And he ran really well at the combine, which surprised me. Kind of inline. He's got some inline traits. Could flex him. He's got some toughness to him. He will probably go before a lot of these guys that we talked about.
How tough is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He had a weight room accident where I guess
We
a
all
bar
did at LSU.
fell on his mouth or something. He lost 3 teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't miss a rep in practice.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. When
like
you
Witten.
think about this team.
Bill's got all this down.
You mentioned Witten?
Yeah.
Guess what Foster Moreau's birthday is?
Same day as
Same as
What is it?
Jason
All
Witten.
Is it May 6th?
Yeah.
Well,
he turns 22 on May 6th. Jason Witten turns 37 on May 6th. Foster Moreau.
It's
who
destiny.
Also, what number did he wear at LSU?
He wore number 18.
He wore number 18.
Whoa.
All right. Number 18 at LSU.
Famous number.
That is, exactly. The number Brian brought us.
Never wore.
Did not wear. We'll talk to you at draft time.
Thank you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?